After being trapped in his car by a mudslide for 3 hours, the man was running dangerously low on oxygen. Desperate, he grabbed the car jack and tried using it to push the steel tube up through the mud to reach fresh air. But even with the jack fully extended, the tube still hadn't broken through the surface. Determined to survive, he placed a thin towel on his shoulder for padding, braced the tube against his body, and pushed upward with all his might, enduring excruciating pain. Suddenly, he felt the pressure give way as the tube finally pierced through the mud to the outside world. Quickly, he inserted a wire into the tube to clear the bottle cap at the end. Peering through the tube, he spotted a faint glimmer of light at the opening. Overcome with excitement, he shouted in triumph he could finally breathe fresh air. It felt like being reborn. After catching his breath, he began looking around for something that might attract attention. A sudden inspiration struck him. He found an old newspaper in the car, rolled it into a strip, held it near the tube opening, and lit it with a match. His plan was to create smoke that would flow through the tube and catch someone's attention. This decision would soon fill him with regret. The flame burned his hand, causing him to instinctively drop the burning paper. By the time he realized what happened and tried to extinguish it, thick smoke had already filled the car. He hurriedly covered his nose and mouth with his shirt before passing out from despair and smoke inhalation. Fortunately, much of the smoke escaped through the tube, and with the limited oxygen inside the car, the flames eventually died out, allowing him to survive by mere luck. Soon after, it began to rain outside. Watery mud flowed down through the tube, clogging the opening. In his panic to clear it with the wire, he accidentally cut himself on the fallen steel tube. The pain was so intense that he passed out again. When he regained consciousness, he found that the sunroof had mostly collapsed under the weight of the mud, with fallen earth now filling half the car. The steel tube was completely blocked. The wound on his head throbbed painfully, making him cry out as blood continued to flow. He took off his shirt, wrapped it around the wound, and secured it tightly with his belt to finally stop the bleeding. Once he recovered slightly, he noticed a small bird that had been buried alive in the mud. He knew that without finding a way out soon, he would share the same fate. Just then, more mud began falling from above. The man let out an anguished roar of frustration. Frantically, he grabbed some fabric and tried to plug the cracks in the sunroof, but his efforts were futile. Weeping in defiance, he refused to accept death so easily. In a final act, he picked up his phone and, forcing himself to appear calm, recorded a last message for his wife. Shortly afterward, he fell into unconsciousness.